Thank you for having me. It has been so beautiful to see all of the amazing women tuning in. And thank you, Marissa, for helping me just calm my nervous system, because that is something that I'm going to be speaking about today for the mums in this space and for anyone actually that wants to know the secret to being able to tame those tantrums and those triggers that come up this time of year. Because it is 'tis the season to be triggered. I mean, jolly. This part of the season where we're at home with our kids and our partners and ourselves, hands up who's had a tantrum already or been triggered by something that's come up, either family, maybe you're trying to work at home or do something, and the kids are like, Mom and Dad, I need this or do this. This time of year is so beautiful, but it can also be really stressful for many of us. So today I'm going to be talking about 3 hidden traits about taming those tantrums and the one solution that's going to solve it all. And Marissa touched on it briefly before, and it's got to do with our nervous system. And the nervous system is how we sense the world, like everything in our bodies, in our beings, how we see, taste, smell, feel, and hear. All of these senses is how we experience the world. And so when we think about our children and they're growing, learning to be humans, and being in this world, of course, they're going to be triggered in their emotional bodies. And so when we understand the nervous system, it helps not only us as parents, but helps us be able to tell our children and our partners and help them calm their nervous system. So what is the nervous system? It's the senses, but we also have both a parasympathetic and a sympathetic nerve that runs through our body. So Marissa touched on the parasympathetic nerve to calm with those beautiful deep breaths. And I'm also an advanced breathwork facilitator. So I was like, yes, heart is beating fast. I'm going to breathe in. And so our parasympathetic nervous system stems all the way from behind our ears and touches every single organ in our body. And it's not called the wandering nerve for no reason. And because it touches every single organ, of course, our bodies are going to feel stress, anxiety, worry, nervousness, or sadness, anger, those feelings that are part of being human, a lot more quicker when we're in a state of fight, flight, or freeze. So some of these 3 hidden traits I want to share is number 1, halt. Halt, stop. Are you missing the triggers? So when we think about our children, or even our partners, or even ourselves, are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Or are you just tired? And these core needs and functions for any human being are being desired to be looked at. So when we think about our little people or our teenagers, if we can address these key triggers before it turns into a chaotic tantrum or before it turns into a meltdown, even for ourselves, and to be able to hit the trigger before it turns into an outburst, then that's going to be the number 1 thing to look for. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? So halt. Allow yourself to stop and take a breath. Look at the situation that your family is in. Are they playing a game right now with their sibling and things are getting heated? Are they getting angry because their sibling or somebody else is taking control? Or is your child or is your husband or partner actually really hungry or hangry? And maybe we just need to tame those essential needs. Tip number 2, we talk too much. And this is a beautiful speaking platform, so I'm going to speak into this. When we talk to our kids or our teenagers or even our partners, as women, we are sensory beings. We tap into the feeling state, but sometimes less is more. And when we talk to our children, no matter what age, if they've had a big meltdown, if they've had an emotional outburst, could we just be there for them and just really listen and don't have to fix it or solve it right then and there? Could we just really allow our presence to be the healing factor. I remember a story with my daughter. It was Christmas time. We had friends over and they left and she had a big meltdown. And it was this part of the phase of like them leaving her. So that core trigger of her feeling alone was something that I recognized. And now she is here too to join me in being together. And so when I noticed that piece of her feeling isolated and alone, she just wanted company. She just wanted to be held. And this leads me to tip number 3. Feel it to heal it. Express, don't suppress. And even as adults, we as mums, we have to be brave. We have to be the martyr. Beautiful Cherie talked about these masks that we put on. Sometimes it's really good to express it out. And I know in the Beautiful Women Thrive space that I was in last week, I was allowed to express, and I was given that permission within myself to express myself, to feel what was coming up for me. And even this little one here expressing herself and feeling the feels and allowing that to just be present in that moment. And so when we notice these traits, could we stop, take a moment to breathe, and think about the situation, think about the context, and reframe how we then communicate. And so I've got a couple of beautiful little strategies before we finish up today. And some of the beautiful strategies that I've gathered and how I help the people and the women in my world is really tapping into that emotional intelligence, being able to come back to calm the nervous system and be able to have strategies that are realistic and be able to help us process these chaotic or triggering moments. And even right now, a part of me is like, oh, maybe I could be talking a little bit differently. Maybe a part of me is like, I should shoo her away. But this is real. This is mum life. This is also about how we lead in our lives. And she gets to see me and gets to witness me speaking live to you all in the hot heat of the Australian evening. But some beautiful strategies that I've used with my daughter here is this idea to connect and redirect. So instead of commanding and demanding, find a way to connect with them on their level and perhaps redirect their attention and their energy. Allowing them to name their emotions, to tame it, is something that will help with big emotions. And that's even for us as adults. And so there's 2 little beautiful strategies to help us during this time of year.